I've been wanting to try another fried chicken recipe for a long time. And this one, y'all, this one is super spicy. It's not for the faint of heart. It is bursting with flavor. The chicken has a really nice crunch to it. So if you're looking for something different to do with your food stores, today's recipe will definitely tick that box. Well, hi there, everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. The idea of making a Nashville Hot Chicken using freeze-dried chicken, definitely in that category of stepping outside the box, right? But ever since I had done that chicken Parmesan recipe, do y'all remember that one? I used these same freeze-dried chicken slices on that recipe, and it turned out so good. Ever since then, I've been wanting to try a different kind of quote-unquote fried chicken recipe, and Nashville Hot Chicken just sounded really good to me. Now, it's not something that I have eaten often, just a couple of times actually we've had it, but my daughter really likes it. She loves spicy food, so I thought I would give it a shot. And I really like the way the spice mix turned out. And this is actually something you could keep in bulk in your pantry if it's something that you like. So I'll put the ingredients up on the screen that you'll need to make this recipe, and then I'll put the full recipe down in the description box below the video. What you'll want to start with is what I'm calling the brine for the chicken. Now, we all know it's not actually a brine because freeze-dried chicken is already cooked, but I'm going to call it a brine anyway. The chicken needs to rehydrate in some sort of liquid, and I'm going to make it a very flavorful liquid. So this is really similar to what I would be doing if I was using just raw chicken. So I've either got milk or buttermilk. If you have powdered buttermilk, that would work as well. I add just a little bit of egg to that because I want to give it a little something to grab onto the chicken with. And then you need a little bit of pickle juice. And so I opened up that jar of pickles and just added 2 or 3 tablespoons of that into the milk. And then also a little bit of hot sauce. It's great flavor. So that right there is what we are going to refresh our chicken in. So might as well, right? It's got to refresh in some sort of liquid. Let's make it really flavorful. All right, next we are going to make the spice mix for the sauce. What I've got in that pot right there, that little pan, is 1/4 cup of butter. I have added some brown sugar to it. And then next comes the cayenne. As spicy as you like things will determine how much cayenne pepper you add. The recipes I saw online, I have drastically reduced the amount of cayenne I put in this just because I'm a bit of a spice wimp. And that doesn't mean that it's not really spicy. It's still really spicy, but I did reduce the amount, and you can increase that or decrease it even more if that's what you like. But this is going to have great flavor. This is what is going to be coating the fried chicken. We'll melt this down on the stove, and it's going to get nice and bubbly. Those spices are really going to wake up since they're usually fat soluble, and heat helps that as well. This is going to be a fantastic sauce for us to coat and toss that fried chicken in. At some point along the way, you'll need to heat up some sort of oil. Now, I just got out some lard. You could use tallow, you could use vegetable oil, but you just need, like 1/4 of an inch or so in the bottom of an iron skillet, and heat that up. Get that to about probably 350, 375. Okay, and here is our sauce. Now that it's come to a bubble, I just let it bubble for maybe 30 seconds. And then I just took it off the heat and let it sit there. It'll stay warm until we are ready for it. Meanwhile, That chicken has been sitting in that brine or that liquid for probably 15 to 20 minutes. You want to test one of the pieces, make sure it's good and rehydrated. I was trying to show you there. I'm sorry it didn't focus. But anyway, all of that chicken is completely rehydrated. Now you can speed the process along a little bit if you start with hot tap water, which is what I did. So strain out the liquid and put it into a bowl. And we're going to use that in just a minute. We're not done with that. You can empty out your chicken onto a plate, and then you'll just need a breading station. All I have there in that little plate with the flour is flour and salt. If you need to, you can use gluten-free flour. That would be just fine. I do recommend you try to have a dry hand and a wet hand. I don't know if y'all have seen that process before, but it is a little bit helpful not to have huge messes. What I'm going to do is either double or triple coat that chicken in my breading station. So right now the chicken is wet, right? So it's got the brine on it, and then I put it into the flour. So that's wet, dry. Now I'm going to do wet and dry again, and then wet and dry a third time. And you don't have to do it 3 times, you could just do it twice. But I wanted to get a good layer of breading on the outside of my chicken, because basically what you have to do here is you have to flash fry it fast so that it doesn't dry out the chicken in the middle. So it's kind of a delicate balance here, but it's totally doable if you get your oil hot enough to where it's not gonna like burn the breading immediately, but hot enough to where it will crisp up the breading before it dries out the middle. That's the sweet spot. And for me, I think it's somewhere between 350 and 375 as far as your oil temperature. So here's my little breading station. I'm just gonna continue to do this until everything is triple coated in the flour. And like I said, you don't have to do it 3 different times, but at least twice. Do it at least twice. I think that's a good amount of breading. All right, I do like to put it on that wire rack just to give it a little bit of time to dry out. And I think the breading adheres better to the chicken while it's cooking. As a side note, if you're thinking, why would someone want to go to all this trouble to bread and fry chicken that's already cooked? Well, if you're having to eat from your food stores, whether it's by necessity or by choice, it's nice to have a wide variety of cooking methods up your sleeve in order to ensure that mealtime is something to look forward to. That's what my channel is all about. If you enjoy cooking with freeze-dried foods, please consider owning my cookbooks. They're both available on Amazon in paperback and as a digital download on my website, thefreezedriedfoodie.com. I'll link to both below. If you own freeze-dried food and want to be able to cook delicious meals with it, then you'll love having my cookbooks. They're loaded with completely shelf-stable meals and mixes. And although I wrote the recipes with Thrive Life ingredients in mind, you can use any brand, including home freeze-dried foods. All right, back to the recipe. Now that my chicken is breaded and it's ready, and my oil is hot and it's ready, I'm going to just put the chicken in the oil. Now you can fry this in batches if you need to, if your skillet is not big enough, or if you have a lot of chicken that you're cooking, you might do it in 2 batches. I just put everything here in one layer, just so you have everything in one layer and there's enough room in there for everything to get nice and brown. And you haven't dropped your oil temperature down too low. If your oil temperature drops too drastically, it'll just sit in grease and soak in grease, and that's not what you want. You want a nice crispy exterior breading. For me, I cooked it for 2 minutes aside, and that was it. I cooked it 2 minutes on the first side, flipped it 2 minutes on the second side, and then it was ready for me to take out. All right, I put it into a bowl, and now it is ready for that gorgeous sauce, that really spicy, flavorful sauce. And you can do it different ways. I poured it on and then tossed it in that bowl. You could, if you wanted to go a little more sparingly with the sauce, you could brush it on, baste it kind of, but I like it all over. So that's what I did. The reason I put it on the rack again is because I wanted to take some pictures of it. But y'all don't have to do that. You can just leave yours in the bowl and then serve it up. Okay, it's ready to serve at this point. So a lot of people, from what I hear, will just put that on a piece of bread and have it with pickles. Well, I had a bun, and so I'm just gonna make a little sandwich with mine. You can eat it however you want to eat it. I do think, since it's so spicy, that it's good with some bread, just because the bread is a little bit like mundane and bland, and it helps to offset the really super spicy chicken. Now, the pickles I like are the bread and butter pickles, but you can do whatever kind of pickles you want or leave them out altogether. I'm telling you what, y'all, this is one of the tastiest things I've ever made. This chicken is absolutely bursting with flavor. It's spicy and salty. It's mildly sweet. It's got that crunchy breading, and overall, it's just pretty fun to eat. When you're cooking with freeze-dried meats, just try to keep in mind that the texture is going to be a little different than if you had been cooking, fresh, raw chicken. Be sure to monitor your cook time closely. If I had cooked it for probably a minute longer, it would have been too dry. You could do a drizzle of honey over this if you like. I think that would be fantastic. Everybody's taste buds are different. Everybody's expectations of what they want in their palate is different. So I think it would be great with some ranch dip on the side to maybe dip those little nuggets in. Yeah, I think blue cheese or ranch or something like this to dip these into would be great. But I polished off that sandwich in like nothing flat. So if you're stuck in a rut, you want something different to do with your food stores, you're eating your freeze-dried chicken. What else can I do with it other than make a soup? Here's an idea for you. Yeah, it is so good. I am so pleased with this recipe. My daughter loved it, and that is high praise coming from her. She's literally one of my harshest critics, but like in the best way. I really do appreciate her input. And the amount I showed you here, which was 1 cup of chicken slices, that was enough for 2 chicken sandwiches. Make as much as you need. You can double that if you need to. You could cut it in half if you'd like. If I'm going to get out the frying pan and heat up the oil and do all that mess with the breading station, I'm going to go ahead and make enough for at least a couple sandwiches. If you're wondering if you could skip the frying process altogether and have some version of Nashville Hot Chicken just by refreshing the freeze-dried chicken slices and then heating it up in the sauce, the answer is yes. I think that could work. Now, you won't have the crunchy fried chicken breading part, of course, but I bet it would be tasty. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like button and also leave me a comment below, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that I'm putting out good content. That's called engagement, and they really like that. All right, I've got a verse of the day for you, a scripture of the day. This comes from the book of John, chapter 10, verse 10, and it reads, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly." Isn't that a great verse? Praise the Lord. All right, guys, I hope you have a blessed day, a wonderful weekend, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving, keep cooking, keep prepping, all the things. All right, bye, guys.